Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Vincent Orange. Welcome.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well this afternoon.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it is great to have you here. And how we like to kick things off here on the Team Racing YouTube channel is to have you talk about yourself a little bit. So please introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about your background and experience.
Okay, we'll do. First of all, my name is Vincent Bernard Orange, Sr. I am an attorney and a certified public accountant. I received my law degree from Howard University School of Law and a Master of Laws.
HU.
HU in the house.
You know.
And my Master of Laws in Taxation from Georgetown University Law Center. I also have degrees in Business and Communications from the University of the Pacific. I had the great opportunity to serve 2 terms as the Ward 5 council member from 1999 to 2007. And then I served as a Democratic National Committee man during the Obama administration for 6 years. And then I served 5 years as an at-large council member from 2011 to 2016. When I first came into office back in 1999 in Ward 5, wow, we were a food desert, financial institution desert, retail desert. All the undesirable projects were placed here. But, we together as a community, we rolled up our sleeves. I put together a summit called The Future Look of Ward 5, and we jump-started economic development, school modernization, and recreation center renovations in Ward 5, and the city followed. We brought Home Depot and Giant complex. We brought Costco's shopping center complex, laid the foundation, changed the comprehensive plan for the development of Union Market. I saw that McKinley was closed, had been closed for quite some time, was able to reopen McKinley as McKinley Technology High School. And also, when our children were complaining about not having books for their core subjects in the month of May. Can you imagine a month of May and school's out in June? So I was able to get legislation passed to get them their books and core subjects by the second week of each new school year. Also, I championed the minimum wage of $15 per hour. Had the opportunity to get 5 days of sick leave paid for tip wage workers. And also, I'm the author and creator of DC Emancipation Day holiday in 2005. It's the only public holiday in the history of the District of Columbia. So those are some of the things that I've been involved in. And sure, as we get through a question, I can detail a little bit more, but I'm a 42-year resident of Ward 5. Been here for a very long time. I'm married to Gwendolyn Evans Orange. Met her at HU. And we have three children and now a granddaughter. And we're just happy to be in Ward 5. My wife has worked in the DC public school system for 30 years and now she's retired.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So have you, as you have pointed out, you have the experience, you have represented Ward 5 on the Council of the District of Columbia before. So now you're back at it again, you've thrown your hat into the ring. Why now? What about this election cycle makes you want to, go ahead and represent the people of Ward 5 once again on the district of the Council of the District of Columbia? And let me know if there's anything you would do different than you did before that you would probably change now.
Okay, well, the Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie decided to give up the seat, so it's an open seat. And there's still, work to be done in Ward 5 since I worked with the community to lay the foundation with the second fastest growing ward in the District of Columbia. There's still a location where you can get a backyard, a front yard. We have all these amenities and people love coming to Ward 5. However, we can't rest on our laurels. We have issues of violence. Violence is running rapid. A young man, 8:30 a.m. in the morning in Ward 5 with his child in one hand and another child holding her hand, and got shot dead. Had a mother in her car with her 2 children, shot dead. Little girl going to get ice cream, came up dead. And so we have to get a handle on what's taking place in violence. Even pedestrian safety. Allison Hart, she got killed there, 14th and Jackson Street. Mr. Ramos got killed at 10th and Michigan Avenue. So there's still a lot of work to be done in that area. Also, with Councilmember McDuffie leaving the council, we want to make sure that Ward 5 has a seat at the table of leadership. I'm the only candidate in the race that can come in day one and demand to have his seat. He chairs the Committee on Economic Development. He's also Chairman Pro Tem. There will be a tremendous amount of economic development in Ward 5 at the Armed Forces Retirement Home, 80 acres of development, 4 million square feet, 25 acres at Macmillan Reservoir. Then you have development activity at New York and Bladensburg Road. So I want to make sure that we're providing jobs for Ward 5 residents, business and contract opportunities, apprenticeships, and so we can continue building on Ward 5. And recently we lost our first elected Ward 5 council member, Dr. Bill William Spalding. But Dr. Spalding, he was the one that introduced the legislation to create the University of the District of Columbia. So in his honor, I am going to champion the University of the District of Columbia becoming tuition free for DC residents. And I still think we got to reach out to the homeless. I'm pushing mobile buses, mobile shower buses. They can pull up to the encampments, provide showers, personal hygiene, while we do an intake process, find out what is needed. Obviously we need housing. We need housing for minimum wage workers, for our young people, for our seniors. We definitely need to improve on education. So there's still a lot of work to be done. And it's like Malcolm X says, if you want to know what I'm going to do, look what I've done. So I've showed you what I've done, and I'm not resting on my laurels. I'm still ready to move forward, work with my community to make Ward 5 even better and greater.
Certainly. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, you touched on some of those issues that you've identified in Ward 5 that you'd like to, see change. So I would like you to expound a little bit more on maybe the top 3 issues that you'd like to tackle, first day in the office. Those 3 things would be at the top of your list to go ahead and try to, resolve those challenges.
Well, I would say, day one, we need to have a crime summit and bring in all the leaders and MPD. I am not in favor of defunding the police. I think you have to fund the police and fund the roots of criminal activity. And the roots of criminal activity is lack of education. We must fund education. We must make sure that our young children can make the transition from elementary school to middle school. And that means that they can read independently, they can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, so they can move through our educational system and graduate. If you're unable to do that and make the transition to middle school, the United States Department of Education says more likely than not, you will make contact with the criminal justice system. We do not want that to happen. But also, just like I got the children books way back when, now I want to make sure that every school-aged child has a laptop and access to the internet. So if the coronavirus comes back in a bad way, learning still continues to move forward. And so we want to protect the neighborhoods and make sure that we have adequate policing, that we focus on those people, problems, and places and kind of bring it under control. But at the same time, housing, mental health services, jobs, business opportunities must be present and available in order to address crime in the long run. In Ward 5, we certainly want to deal with pedestrian safety. We've had a number of fatalities. The mayor's Vision Zero program is not working. And I think all this having more speed cameras, that's more revenue, but that doesn't work, especially when Maryland and Virginia, they're not paying their infractions. They owe us millions and millions of dollars. So I say, let's light up the intersections. Let's make them higher. Let's have more infrastructure improvement so that we can address this issue of pedestrian safety. And then also, at the end of the day, we need jobs. We need business opportunities. We need contracts. And that's why I think that I would be an excellent person to step into that committee as chair of the Business and Economic Development Committee. Won't miss a beat. I've done it before, done it, work with the community, and we can keep moving forward. So education, employment, and economic development. The 3 E's, bring the 3 E's together, and we continue to move up.
The three E's. Thanks so much for sharing, Mr. Orange. Now, at this point, in addition to sharing why you think you are the best choice for voters, I also want to give you an opportunity to comment on the statement you made during a recent candidate forum about one of your opponents and the criticism it garnered.
Well, at the Capitol Stonewall Democrats Forum, the focus was on the LGBTQ plus community. And my opponent did a great job of explaining all the problems, including, rise in violence on youth. 40% of the LGBTQ community is suffering homelessness and sometimes may lead to suicide. So, my intent was not to focus, on the whole entire, LGBTQ population. My intent was to really see, Mr. Parker, how are we affecting change in your roles as the school board president, in your role as the Ward 5 representative? How are we affecting change? What are we doing? Let's stop explaining the problems. Let's get the problem solved. I'm a problem solver. So, as I indicated to you before, when our children didn't have books, I wrote legislation to get them books. When Jim Graham came to me, the late Jim Graham, openly gay, came to me and said, Vince, you chair this committee. Can we co-sponsor legislation to establish the LGBTQ office on a permanent basis so we never have to worry about it being abolished? We did that. I also championed legislation with Mr. Graham to prevent discrimination in the workplace for transgender people and pregnant women. We got that accomplished. I think I'm the only council member, or there could possibly be another, but I believe I'm the only one that has conducted a same-sex marriage in the Wilson building. And even when I was at PEPCO, I was the one that espoused and got domestic partners. Now, I'll be the first to admit I have evolved. I did evolve from 2006, and I've been a strong champion. So, basically my intent was, what are we doing to affect change? What are you doing to affect change? We're both competitors. We both desire to be the councilman for Ward 5. So how do we get that done? And let's stop talking about the problems. Let's talk about solutions. And you have been an elected official. How have you affected change?
Certainly. I do want to ask, do you understand where the criticism came from, just in the way of what it is like to come out and how that may be hard for some people, and the way how it looks as if you are criticizing the fact that he has come out, when it's, it's a very personal journey for many people. So I think that's where the criticism lies. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's a personal decision, and it's a tough decision, and everyone has to make their own personal decision. And I apologize if I presented it wrong and came out the wrong way, but it was really about how do you affect change and what have you done. Let's stop explaining the problems. But if you know that 40% of the LGBTQ youth are homeless and may in fact commit suicide, that violence is increasing. What have you done to do that? For me, I've introduced legislation when I was there before to create 1,000 units of 600 square feet housing units for young people, for seniors, and for minimum wage workers. So that's what I put on the table. Those are things that I have done. As I indicated, I'm now pushing a $22 per hour minimum wage so people can deal with the high rising cost here in the District of Columbia. So I just wanted to hear, in your experience and in your roles, what are we doing? What are we doing? And, how do you separate yourself? I separate myself by being a problem solver. So once again, let me clearly state that, I apologize if I offended anyone. And if it made it seem as I was attacking the coming out, that was not my intent whatsoever. We're in a public arena. We're talking about issues and how do you address issues. And that was my intent, and that's what I was trying to get to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Now let's get people up to date with, the dates and the deadlines and everything for this election. So when does voting begin? And when is this election?
Well, on May 16th, ballots will be mailed. And so
Mhm.
every registered voter will in fact receive a ballot. On May 27th, the drop box is open. So you can actually go to locations where there will be drop boxes. The deadline to update your voter registration is May 31st. Absentee ballots, June 6th. But the key here is early voting. Starts on June 10th and ends on June 19th. Now, since they are sending out all these ballots, in Ward 5, we used to have 19 voting precincts. Now we only have 4 voting precincts during the early voting period. Then on primary election day, there will be 8 voting sites. So we're still way below those 19, but the DC Board of Elections is banking that a number of voters will utilize the ballots, because the ballots will in fact be on your coffee table, be on the dining room table. So, it's going to be a little different in how one really campaigns this time
Mhm.
around, because a
Yeah.
lot of folks may not be coming to the polls. So, we're really going to have to up our game and, forums like this, and really talk about the things that we've done, the things that we plan to do, and most importantly, getting people to get out to vote. And for all the candidates in Ward 5 and throughout the city, is getting your votes to the ballot.
Certainly, certainly. So everyone, please make sure that you're registered to vote. You can go to headcount.org right now to check your voter registration status, pledge to vote, and register to vote. Once again, that is headcount.org to check your voter registration status, pledge to vote, and register to vote. Now, Mr. Orange, how can people find out more about you, find out more about your campaign, follow you, keep up with what you're doing, and support and donate if they want to?
Well, I'm on orangeward5.com, and you can find a lot of information about my past and the things that I've been able to achieve. And you can always go to vincentorange.com, and on both sites you can make contributions. I'm the only candidate that actually has a physical campaign office in the ward. I'm located at 4101 South Dakota Avenue. And as the weather is getting better, like today is a beautiful day, you'll see the candidates out and about. So, campaign season is really about to swing in,
There
and
you go.
more people to people engagement. So we're going to be out there and look forward to talking and interacting with you. And I certainly would love to have all the Ward 5 votes. I'm number 7 on the ballot, and looking forward to a victory on June 21st.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're going to have those websites and links in the description below so that our audience can go ahead and check that out. Mr. Orange, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to get to chat with you, and I wish you the best of luck on your campaign.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed the interview. Have a great
Thank
day.
you so much. You have a good one too. Those watching, please follow Team Racine Productions at Team Racine on all forms of social media. Click around our YouTube channel, check out other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And make sure you check out our Elections 2022 playlist, where we have interviews with all the candidates running in the District of Columbia, the Maryland, Virginia, and nationally. And while you're there, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.